she just says, nope, hits eject, puts it back in the case. I didn't see it again until the stack of movies was ready to go back on Monday. I feel really bad for the youth of today for many reasons, but many reasons. But specifically for one thing that they will never get a chance to experience, and it's been kind of in the news adjacent to it lately with Best Buy has come out and they've said that they are not having they're not carrying physical media as far as movies go in store anymore. And I saw a rumor that Walmart is trying to, or is at least toying with the idea of getting rid of games, like physical copies of games. So physical media kind of uh, up in the air. Its future is up in the air. And uh, along with that, streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and all these other Disney Plus, all this stuff, streaming kind of really isn't the future or the present. It's the present, but I don't really think it's the future. And so we're kind of in this weird area of media and how you get your media. And with, the recent WWE going to Netflix, that streaming deal being announced, it really does kind of raise a lot of questions for the future. And so, but one thing that will never go away for me has been physical media. I've always been really big on physical media, having a DVD copy, having a Blu-ray copy. Now I've moved up to the 4K copies. And, having that physically be able to hold it in my hands is super important to me. And so that's always just been a thing. I used to keep track of, I've got 500 Blu-rays, I've got 600 Blu-rays, I've got closing in on 1,000, and then I just stopped updating the software. So I don't really know how many I've got right now, but there's some joy about, we call it going to the zoo, and being able to just go and pick out a movie that you want to see. And having that option where you can just go to the wall and like going to the zoo, because on the other hand, finding a movie that you want in when you're just scrolling through TV is catching it in the wild. And there's something real special about a movie that you like. When you catch it on TV, you catch it in the wild and you watch it. There's just something special about it. So, and there are some movies that you always stop and watch when they are when you catch them in the wild. But one thing that I do feel really bad and sad for the young people in this world is going forward, they won't know the joy of being able to go and pick out a movie that they want to watch and have it, rent it, like go to a video rental store. And so it's super sad because I have a lot of fond memories of going to video stores. We had one, Home Vision Video was the one that we always had. That was like our go-to Home Vision Video. And then they built a Blockbuster, and then that became like the greatest thing ever. But we always used to love to go because Friday nights when we went to Home Vision Video, it meant two things. Number one, we were going to rent a movie, but also number two, right across the street and down from the Home Vision Video was the Pizza Hut, which usually meant that we would get a video. We would each get to pick out some movies, and then you'd go across the street and get a stuffed crust pizza. So it would be like the greatest night pretty much ever. And so as a kid, it got to the point where I got old enough where we would all go in, and then I'd get to go and find something that I would want to rent. I would get the responsibility and the privilege of being able to go to whatever section I wanted to go to and rent something. But as I got a little bit older, I wouldn't need my parents like right there to help me pick something out. And so as I got older and I started to want to kind of push the envelope a little bit, it you start to kind of come up with these ways to try and downplay if it's a scary movie that you probably shouldn't be watching, or like an action movie with a lot of violence and gore and stuff that you don't think your parents would want you to see, but you have to uh, explain to them why, or make a case for why a certain movie wasn't as bad. It's not as bad as you think. It's not as bad. There's I know it's called lethal whatever, but it's not bad. Uh, and I remember trying to rent a video game, the game Lethal Enforcers, and it was like a light gun game, and so tried to rent it, and Lethal Enforcers, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, you play a cop and you do this, and so I'm trying to sell it. My parents are like, okay, well maybe maybe it's not bad. It's got an edgy name, and it'll be fine. And we get to the register, and the lady at the register is like, oh, this isn't just like you shoot them and they go poof in a thing of smoke and they go away. It's like it's pretty violent. And they say, oh, maybe you should go pick out something else. And so I came that close. And then you discover the horror movie section, and horror movies, especially in the VHS days, were crazy because the movies were not necessarily exceptional, but the cover art was what you really, really like, what they sold you on. Like the cover art was crazy. The cover art for Silent Night, Deadly Night always stuck out to me, where it's the house with the snow on it, and there's a chimney, and there's an arm coming out of the chimney with an axe, um, and it's dressed as Santa, and it's like, oh, I always said I'm gonna watch that movie at some point, and so you want to rent them, but you're 12, 13, and your parents probably don't want you to watch them. And so I developed what I like to call the sandwich method, which was you take a movie that your parents are going to be okay with, first layer, and then you take the third layer, another movie that you know that they're okay with, and then in the middle you sandwich something that might be more objectionable. My the famously I did that with the original Friday the 13th, where stuck it in the middle, got through with it was me and my dad, and we went to Home Vision Video, so I stuck Friday the 13th in the middle of the sandwich, brought it home, and we get home, and my mom is there, and she's like, oh, what'd you guys get? Like, what are we gonna watch this weekend? And so, she has the stack of tapes. We got, 5 or 6, 7 things to watch over the weekend, maybe a game, whatever. And so she starts going through, and she gets to Friday, like she takes the first one. Okay, okay, okay. Gets to Friday the 13th, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the test. She looks at it, and she looked back and forth, like, okay, Friday the 13th. I don't know. It's just the generic rental box is what they gave you. And they don't give you like the cover art and all that stuff. So it's that generic, wraparound. It's like white, and it just says Friday the 13th on the side. And so she's like, oh, like, what is this? And so she walks it over, pops it out, puts it in the VCR. I'm like, oh, man, please let it be okay. Please let it be okay. And she hits the button, and it fires up. And whoever rented it before me, whoever did it and had it before me, was not kind, did not rewind, and it was at the point where, spoilers, if you haven't seen a 40-plus-year-old movie, 44-year-old movie this year, it's the part where Kevin Bacon gets the arrow through the neck, and it's like right as the arrow comes up and spins around and blood comes out. So she puts it in, she hits it, and that comes up, the arrow comes out, it spins around. She just says, nope, hits eject, puts it back in the case. I didn't see it again until the stack of movies was ready to go back on Monday. I told that story last year to actually Adrienne King at Scarefest, and she called me a bad child. So there, it's official that um, according to Alice from Friday the 13th, I am a bad child. So, but there was something special about just the home video going, and maybe there was something that you really, really wanted, and you went, and they didn't have it, so you had to get a second choice, and you had to wait to watch whatever you wanted to watch. It was a special time that is really sad that a lot of kids and people now don't have. We have so much available just at our fingertips, like all the time, and so yeah, I wish we could go back to a simpler time and have VHS rental stores because they were so great. We didn't even touch. I didn't even touch on the Blockbuster World Video Game Championship. So that will be a follow up um, for this for sit down stand up. Maybe next time I'll do the Blockbuster World Video Game Championship and how that worked. But I am Chris. This has been TN2M Show's sit down stand up. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this video to anybody that you might want. Go check out our merch shop and buy a shirt. We've got a bunch of new merch in there. Make sure to check us out when we cover a convention or have a show or something near you. But until next time, this is Chris. This is TN2M Show's Sit Down Stand Up episode. I guess we're on like 15 by now. I think this is episode 15. We've just kind of been trucking along. So thank you everybody for your support so far. If we're not at 10,000 subscribers at the time of this recording, Dick Cheney's alive, and we are so close to 10,000 if we're not there already. So thank you everybody who has subscribed and shared and liked, comment. If you ever went to a video store and rented anything, give me your favorite, your fondest rental store memories, and we'll commiserate together about the fact that rental stores are no more. So until next time, thanks everybody. Bye.